Hello folks, this is Cyrus speaking. This is a preview video for Wildcard game number 2 of Civ4 AI Survivor Season number 8. Yes, we actually had to do 2 wildcard games this year because we had so many leaders survive into the wildcard. These are all the leaders who did not die in the opening round, also did not finish in first or second place. We had 13 of them, which is the most we've ever had in any previous season. And that meant that we split 6 of them into the first wildcard game and 7 of them into the second wildcard game. All right, so here are the 7 leaders. One of our typical Pangea maps. We've got leaders kind of distributed all over the place on this particular map here. As a note, there are no more seeded leaders. There's no more Pool 1 or Pool 2 leaders. Everyone in this game is just someone who survived the opening round but didn't come in first or second place. And in addition to that, we do turn on Raging Barbarians for the wildcard games. That was also the case in the first wildcard game, but I will mention it here as well. Okay, let's go ahead and run through the leaders in this particular match. First up, we have Alexander with unusual green borders here. Now, why is Alex green? Well, the reason is we had too many leaders with the blue borders. Normally, I would turn him to red, but I turned Washington to red because I was trying to stick with America's colors, red, white, and blue. Couldn't turn him to white because de Gaulle already has white. And we didn't have anyone with green colors, so Alex just has ended up as green on this map because we had too many people with blue colors. Alex is a pretty straightforward leader. He's very aggressive. He likes to build units. He likes to fight people. He has a low piece weight. He's probably going to try to fight somebody. How he does in his wars dictates how he does in the game. He's really not very good at the economic side of things. But if you want somebody to go the military route, Alex is one of the best candidates. He actually was a seeded Pool 2 leader this year, although I don't know if he's going to be that way for the next season. Okay, continuing onwards, over here on the east side, we have Brennus. Pretty similar to Alex, also militaristic, not quite as militaristic. He also is very likely to found a religion in this game because he is the only leader who starts with mysticism in this field. So he will probably start with a religion. He has drawn the seafood-heavy start, which tends not to be that good for the AI. That said, it did work out reasonably well for Pakal in our opening round game, and we've already run the alternate histories for that game. Pakal actually did quite well in the alternate histories, so maybe better than we think. Hard to say, but if you like clams and fish, Brennus is your man for this particular map. All right, next up here, scrolling up to his north, we have Cyrus, one of the Persian leaders. Pretty solid traits, charismatic, imperialistic, pretty good for AI survivor purposes. He has a little bit of a backfill peninsula here. If he's smart, he'll settle this quickly. If he's not smart, this will be a barbarian breeding ground for some time yet to come. Cyrus is someone who's done well in past seasons, but is a little bit under the radar. He's like a tier 2 or tier 3 leader. He's not quite as good as some of the other leaders at either the economic or the military side of things. He's like somewhere in between. He can kind of do both, but neither one great, if that makes sense. He's drawn this starting position that synergizes reasonably well with his starting text. Persia is agriculture plus hunting, so if he opens animal husbandry, he'll be able to connect this. Question is, will he be able to keep the barbarians from pillaging everything? That I'm less certain of. Next up, over here in the northwest, we have de Gaulle, one of the French leaders. Not the best traits, industrious, charismatic, kind of a weird pairing, I'll say. I guess it's really good if you build Stonehenge because you have the charismatic synergy for the extra happiness off the charismatic monuments. Other than that, not a lot of synergy here. The general perception is that de Gaulle is one of the weaker leaders in Civ4. He doesn't really do anything all that well. He has like this comically low piece weight. They made him like demonic 0 for his piece weight as like some kind of a joke about the Iraq war that was going on in the United States when this game was made. And he's also famous for having the highest odds to vassal himself to another AI, which doesn't factor into this game because we have vassal states turned off. He's just kind of a weird leader. He doesn't really perform that well. He likes to build wonders. He does a little bit with spying stuff, but he's kind of a blah leader overall. Hasn't really distinguished himself that much, even though I believe he has 2 top 2 finishes in the past. He does have a northwest start here. Maybe has a little bit more room to expand into, although a lot of this is tundra. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is hard to say because, I mean, he can get some fishing villages up here, but he also might spawn a lot of barbarians up there, so we'll see. At least France does have really good starting techs and is one of the better civs in Civ 4. All right, continuing onwards, down here in the south central portion of the map, we have Soyumarman of the Khmer. My guess is that he's probably going to be the favorite in the picking contest for this game. He is the only Pool 1 leader who has found his way into this game, and he's seen as being one of the better leaders for AI Survivor. Pretty good traits, especially in the early game. Expansive creative, good at getting out to a fast start. Not so good after that, but the early game is always the most important thing in Civ 4. People are also going to like the fact that he has a gold tile here at the start, and he starts with mining tech, so he'll be able to improve this immediately. He also has a good bit of room to expand into down here in the south. A lot of room. Of course, that does mean more room for barbs to spawn in, and then he's got a lot of jungle here. So definitely has some room to expand out, and he's probably been the most, not probably, he has been the most successful leader historically out of the ones in this field. So he'll probably be the favorite, but even if he's the favorite, I mean, there's 7 leaders here. We've got Raging Barbs. A lot of wacky stuff can happen. I wouldn't bet on anything being consistent from game to game here. All right, next up, more of our leaders at the end of the alphabet. We have Washington of the Americans here. Washington is the most militaristic of the American leaders, but that's not saying much because Lincoln and FDR are both very pacifistic. He has kind of a weird trait pairing in the sense that he is expansive charismatic, which is actually quite good for fighting, but he has a low aggression rating and he won't plot war at pleased. So he's kind of in this situation where he can build units that are good at fighting, but he then doesn't want to fight, which is again, a little bit wacky. His starting position is not that bad here. He's on the Plains Hill, which is always nice when there's Raging Barbs, and he's also got a corn resource here. America starts with fishing and agriculture, so he'll be able to improve this. He has done a little bit better than we anticipated in some of the games this year. That he really probably should have been top 2 in his opening round game, but he kind of flubbed it in the late game. That said, this is going to be a tough field for him because almost everyone in this field is low piece weight except for him, so he will probably be the favorite for first to die. Then, last but not least, we have Willam of the Dutch up here. Willam is pretty clearly the best economic leader in this field. He's the only one with financial trait, and he has really, really good economic traits, creative, financial. He's also drawn a start that is coastal, which is probably good for him because he starts with fishing tech. You can see he's already building the workboat here. And financial leaders plus coastal tiles is always a bit of a match made in heaven. That said, Willam's biggest weakness is he's very bad at defending himself. He's infamous for skipping rifling tech, like more so than any other leader in the game. The rule is usually if he makes it to rifling tech, he's going to win the game, but he usually skips it and then often gets beaten up or killed by someone who's a lot weaker than him. This is also a pretty violent field, and he does not have a ton of space to expand into, so it could be a tough patch in this game. If he does actually manage to conquer somebody, like if he would run over De Gaulle or Alex by some miracle, he would be the heavy favorite at that point. But if he can't get out of this boxed corner starting position, it could be rough. Still, any financial leader always has a chance in these games because if the game stalemates, financial usually wins. All right, so that's the quick overview for this game. As usual, we run a picking contest for these games, so there will be a link to that underneath the video description. If you're watching this, you probably know that already. This game will take place 1 week from when this video gets posted, and that will be on Friday, August the 23rd, 2024. Friday, August 23rd. At our usual noon Eastern starting time. So hopefully we will catch you there on the live stream, but if not, you can always watch the video recording here on YouTube afterwards. So until then, hope everybody has a great week, and we will see you for Civ4 AI Survivor Season number 8, Wildcard Game number 2. Until then, take care, folks. Have a good one, and I'll see you soon.